Welcome to another episode of Mentor Pam in a Van. Now, before we get started on this particular exciting adventure, I want to invite you to join me on my daily newsletter, Daily Mojo. It's a place to get your mojo going for the rest of the day. I send it out first thing in the morning so you've got that spark and ignition you need to get through your days. Now, let's get started on today's episode. And I want to spend some time to say thank you for those that have been highly engaging and loving what's coming and giving me the enthusiasm and the motivation to keep creating videos like this. And I think you're really going to enjoy this week's episode where we walk through an incredible rainforest in the Pacific Northwest and the unexpected thing that happened. I didn't see it coming, so stay tuned. So we were driving along and came upon this one particular spot coming down a particularly long back road. And at first we thought it was a pile of garbage, household garbage. But, that all of a sudden it clicked that it's not that type of garbage. It's some type of monument. And it's all shoes on this old dead tree bark. And when I look up at the sign here, it says, in memory of Ryan Britton, hiked Cape Scott, November 2007, forever loved. Now, I don't know what the rest of the shoes are about, if it's something to do with Ryan Britton, or if there's another significant meaning. A lot of children's shoes in there as well, or maybe it's just people that have hiked and left a little memento as part of that. Well, I haven't hiked Cape Scott, so my shoes are staying on until that time, if I ever do it. Interesting what you find along lonely old roads in the wilderness. Well, this is the rainforest. Can you hear the sound of the forest? One of the things that we marveled at when we arrived here yesterday was the behemoth trees that are surrounding us. Old, huge trees that are just everywhere. Old, this looks like Jurassic Park. I keep saying that every time I arrive in a spot, but you can see the moss hanging off the branches, and the trees are just ancient looking. Unbelievable. This one here, we sort of camped under last night, and no matter where you look, these humongous trees exist. Here's another one right here. I don't know if I can, right here. And again, it's very difficult to capture this on camera. But one of the things I always do is look for the mother. And there are three huge trees. I call it the Trinity of trees. And I believe that this one back here is the mother. The girth of this tree is just enormous. Now, it's across a water way down there. I don't know if water's down there. And I'm going to try and capture the length of this thing. I have to scroll up, of course, because you can't capture it in one shot. But it just keeps going. Like, where is the top? So we're up there. There is the mama tree out of the Trinity. She's even got sort of like a face on her, if you can watch. See, there's her eyes that are closed, her mouth. Like she's seen some stuff. So we're going to go and walk the Cape Scott Trail down to the ocean. It was too rainy last night. You might have heard some of the shots I took inside the van, and you're hearing the rain coming down and beating on the rooftop. It was just way too rainy to go out there. And I didn't bring my hiking boots with me. I had to buy a cheap pair of something to get me through. It just unprepared on this trip because of the move and just throwing things into the locker and so forth. So we're going to go walk the Cape. So we're on the Cape Scott Trail, the 2+ kilometers down to the ocean. It's a pretty well maintained trail, at least so far. It's just the beginning. And the rain comes and goes, but you know what, folks? We are in the rainforest, so we're going to get some stuff every now and then, but it's a beautiful space down here. Now, this is the land of bears and wolves, and you are cautioned that these things are in the area. But as you probably can hear, we have a bear bell, and we got our stuff, you know, to protect ourselves. But there are other people walking the trail, so we don't anticipate much action in that regard. But look at this, in the Canadian wilderness, just beautiful. Some really old trees back here. After a while, you're going to get sick and tired of hearing me say this, but it is what it is. It's just beautiful. And for those of you that are already on the island, I really encourage you to find yourself up here. This is Cape Scott Provincial Park. It's a BC park. And you can camp, tent down further, I think, on the beach area, which we've yet to get to. And if you want to do an RV overnight thing, you can do that at the San Joseph wreck site, which we stayed at last night. Either way, even if it's just a ride up for the day from maybe Campbell River, you stay in Campbell River in a hotel motel deal and come up here for the day. Or there's a bed and breakfast in Holberg. I mean, there's so many options. There's no reason why you can't be here. So I say whatever you have to do to see and experience this, folks. Stop making excuses and get here. And maybe in whatever other province you happen to be in, get amongst the trees, get amongst nature, and breathe. Excuse me, my voice. Breathe. Get out and breathe. Okay, right in this area here, there's another huge mammoth of a tree, the behemoths. Again, very difficult to capture. And it's in a decliner, whatever you want to call it, to step down into that bush. And what's beautiful about this, the sun is shining and the drops of rain are falling from the last shower. You can hear it and the rays coming down. It's just it gives a really beautiful, magical feel to the whole moment. Look at this. Again, really is upsetting that I can't capture what it is I'm seeing here properly. One thing I should mention about being here in the rainforest is the oxygen levels are just so clear and amazing. You feel so alive back here, at least I do. And the sleep you get at night is, bar none, phenomenal, deep. I'm telling you, I don't know how many times I have to say this, but you really have to find yourself in such a place. And for those of you that are already there doing it or live in a close proximity to it, really enjoy it. Like, really understand the beauty and the majesty and the power that you have in being in such a place. Most people just don't think about it. They're so stuck in the default of hustle and grind and going to the next. They don't understand that they're missing the magic. They're missing the energy. They're missing what life is all about. We are of this. We are of nature. Why are you not here? Even if it's for a picnic, for an hour or half a day. Get here. Get here. If you can. started at kilometer 0 here, and we're now here. So in the grand scheme of things, this wasn't a big walk. Now, when I pulled back, did you see how big Cape Scott Provincial Park actually is? Kind of takes your breath away, huh? So I hear the sound of the ocean, so let's go see the ocean. Welcome to the ruggedness of the Canadian Pacific. So there you have it, folks. It was quite a spectacular walk, and we get to see what it looks like going back the other way. Again, if you can get yourself up here, please do. It's well worth the effort to get up the drive up here and then the walk, the 2 kilometers. I guess it's about approximately 2 kilometer walk here. And just grateful. That's all I really can say. We just came upon this issue. Noticed that there was some stuff on the trail which wasn't there when we left before. So it looks like a tree uprooted itself and has now blocked the trail. So we're gonna have to find a way to scramble through here. Isn't this, see? Always expect the unexpected. Well, we made it through. Had to crawl through a little spot over there. So someone's gonna have to come and cut through this and clean up the path. Just look at that. Some tree fell after we passed through here about an hour and a half ago. Wow. See? Always expect the unexpected. But I have to tell you something, after crawling through there, boy, do we smell piney fresh. So back in the kitchen again to do another quick dinner. In the van, you don't want to spend too much time with too many utensils and too many products, although it looks like a whole ton of stuff out here, but I only do it because I want you to see some of the things that I'm using. And you might be wondering, well, why is Pam showing us food? Well, food is the foundational spice of life. One must eat, and one must eat even on the road in van life. So I want to start doing some meals that are healthy and tasty and good to look at. And not only am I going to be doing some food demonstrations while we're out in the rainforest. You might be able to hear the rain. It's been raining consistently and persistently since we came out here. But it looks like Jurassic Park here, and I'll show you more of that later. But I'm also going to show demonstrations around skincare and how to take care of ourselves better. So it won't always be about food, it'll be about other things too. But today, it's food, gotta eat. So let's get started, and I'll show you some of the things that will go into this meal today. So today I'm going to be making, what am I making today? I'm not even sure. Well, starting off with tricolored quinoa. Quinoa is always a great choice when it comes to grains. This has black, red, and white, and so no need to choose. Chicken breast, broccoli as a side, and the ingredients I'm using for the the coconut chicken curry dish that I'm making. Italian seasoning, ground cumin, curry powder, thyme, creamed coconut, an onion, a little bit of ginger, and some minced garlic as well, a tomato, pepper, salt, and olive oil. So here we go. So the first thing we do is we dice up the chicken breast. Then we season it up with the thyme, ground cumin, curry powder, salt, pepper, all the dry seasonings. Then we just mix it together. I want to make sure it's all covered. I love smelling that little bit of ginger in there and that curry. And I also put in a little lemon juice for that added savory. Always with that onion, gotta have that onion. So dice up that onion, and you'll see what I do with that next. And just put it to the side when you're finished. Next, cube up that tomato, a whole tomato. So the quinoa is boiling away here. The tricolor, you have to do it a little bit differently than the normal quinoa. You roast it in olive oil for a couple of minutes before you add the water and bring it to a boil. And then you lower it down once the water starts to disappear. Okay? So now we're going to go on to getting the chicken done. Now to get the pan ready, you put in some olive oil and heat it up. I love that olive oil. Then put in some garlic paste. I usually like to use whole garlic, but I don't have it on board today, so it's garlic paste. And heat it up until it starts to brown. Then I throw in some curry mixed with water. Smell that aroma. Then I put in the onion and the creamed coconut. And that's melted and stirred down. And I also put in a little bit of broccoli in the quinoa. Now goes the chicken. Chicken goes in the curry and cream coconut base. A little bit of water to make sure it's not sticking down there. And I put in the tomato. Tomato has a high water content, so it lets out a little bit of water into the mixture. And I just let that stew down a little bit, cover it up. Look at that. Masterpiece. You wouldn't believe the aroma coming out of that. And after some time, the quinoa and the broccoli has been nicely steamed and fluffed up. And the cream curry chicken. Wonderful meal. And there you have it, folks. A van life meal on a rainy rainforest adventure. I have to make that again soon. It was absolutely delicious. Actually, I think it's the best curry I've made. And I didn't have all the ingredients that I usually use. If you try it, I hope you enjoy it. Well, it's the end of another day, a couple of days. It was a really great 48 hours being up island at Cape Scott, and that trail, that rainforest trail, just spectacular. Anyways, we are in town now, and we are going to find a spot to sleep. You know, it's another thing about van life, trying to find places to sleep when you're not out in the campground area or logging roads or whatever. City camping, a little bit more tricky, but we're going to find a spot. Usually, it comes down to finding a Walmart. So as we look for a spot for tonight, here are a few more images from the rainforest.